Merv Griffin revealed the 8 worst racist guests in his 24 years on TV. For nearly 2.5 decades from 1962 to 1986, Merv Griffin interviewed thousands of Hollywood's biggest stars, witnessing behavior that other hosts never saw. As both talk show host and successful producer who created Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune, Griffin had a unique perspective on the entertainment industry's power players. MV saw everyone, explained a longtime producer who worked on the show. He wasn't just interviewing them for 8 minutes. He was backstage with them, in production meetings with them, watching how they treated people when the cameras weren't rolling. According to staff members who worked across Griffin's 24-year run, production records from multiple networks, and documented accounts from those who witnessed backstage behavior, the show revealed patterns of discrimination from some of Hollywood's most beloved stars. These weren't just uncomfortable moments or outdated language from a different era. These were sustained patterns of discriminatory behavior that shaped careers, influenced hiring decisions, and blocked opportunities for black artists trying to break into an industry already stacked against them. Stars who demanded all-white crews. Performers who used their power to maintain segregated casting for decades. Music. Icons whose business success was built on systematic exclusion they never acknowledged or apologized for. Most shocking were the performers America loved most. The holiday icon whose warm Christmas voice concealed decades, music of resistance to integration. The beloved comedy pioneer whose groundbreaking career taught an entire generation of producers how to build discrimination into their business empires. And at number 8, the Rat Pack leader whose power and mob connections meant he never felt the need to hide attitudes that would have destroyed anyone else's career. Griffin's 24 years gave him something other hosts didn't have: the ability to see the same stars across multiple decades, different networks, and changing social contexts. He watched who evolved as America changed and who actively resisted every step toward quality. What he saw changed how he understood the industry he helped build. But first, we need to understand how the fierce Hollywood actress at number 1 used her legendary status to enforce discriminatory standards that shocked even those who admired her talent. Starting with number 1. Number 1, B. Davis. The fierce actress with discriminatory attitudes. When B. Davis performed on the MV Griffin Show, viewers saw a legend. The fierce actress with unforgettable eyes who commanded the screen in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, All About Eve, and dozens of films that defined Hollywood's golden age. Her reputation for not suffering fools and her uncompromising professionalism made her an icon. She represented talent without apology and standards without compromise. But according to those who worked on Griffin's show during the 1960s and 1970s, Davis's fierce reputation concealed troubling attitudes toward black crew members. Davis made specific demands about who could work near her. She insisted on experienced crew members. Language production staff understood as code for white older workers. When young black production assistants were assigned to her, Davis requested changes. She cited needing people who understood her requirements. Production staff documented Davis's resistance to working with black makeup artists and hairstylists. Music. She specifically requested white makeup artists, claiming they knew what worked for her. The pattern was clear. She made these requests regardless of the actual experience level of black artists available, some of whom had decades of professional credentials. Davis frequently commented about Hollywood's standards declining when discussing industry changes. She referenced integrated production crews as Hollywood becoming too modern. Staff members understood these as thinly veiled nostalgia for all-white Hollywood. Multiple crew members documented clear patterns in how Davis treated white versus black staff. With white crew, she maintained her demanding but professional reputation. With black crew, she became dismissive and curt. This differential treatment appeared consistently across her multiple appearances throughout the 1970s. Her legendary status provided perfect cover. When crew members noticed her treatment of staff, it was dismissed as that's just being difficult. Her fierce reputation became a shield, making status to maintain discriminatory practices. The glamorous icon at number 2 showed how age and bitterness amplified existing prejudices. Number 2. Joan Crawford, Hollywood royalty who aged into bitterness. When Joan Crawford appeared on the Merv Griffin show, viewers saw Hollywood royalty, the glamorous star whose perfect posture and commanding presence embodied old Hollywood elegance. Her rags to riches story made her an inspiration. She represented determination, success, music, and the ultimate Hollywood transformation. Crawford's later career appearances in the late 1960s and early 1970s revealed troubling patterns. The aging star resisted working with younger, more diverse crews, becoming standard in television production. She requested familiar staff members code for white older workers from Hollywood's segregated era. When these requests couldn't be accommodated, Crawford's displeasure was obvious to everyone on set. Crawford insisted on separate facilities when black performers or crew members were present. She requested different entrances and preparation spaces, creating segregated environments even on officially integrated sets. These demands were framed as privacy needs, but the pattern revealed their true motivation. She frequently commented about the industry losing its standards when confronted with integrated crews. She used phrases like "back when people took pride in their work and context," clearly referencing segregated Hollywood. Her nostalgia wasn't for better craftsmanship. It was for an all-white industry. What made Crawford's behavior notable was how it worsened as she aged. Staff who dealt with her over multiple years watched her become progressively less careful about hiding prejudices. By the early 1970s, as career opportunities dwindled, her bitterness about aging combined with discriminatory attitudes created hostile behavior toward young black staff who represented everything about modern Hollywood she resented. Staff documented instances where Crawford treated young black production assistants with open contempt. She questioned their presence on professional sets. She viewed diverse crews as personal affronts to her legacy and proof Hollywood had abandoned her era standards. Her status as Hollywood royalty and advancing age created situations where production companies accommodated her demands rather than confront her behavior. Networks continued booking Crawford because her legend status drew viewers interested in old Hollywood glamour. Her discriminatory demands stayed internal, carefully managed by networks needing her name recognition. While Crawford's discrimination seemed rooted in clinging to the past, the All-American Cowboy at number 3 actively defended his white supremacist views even after public exposure. Number 3. John Wayne, the cowboy who defended his supremacist views. When John Wayne appeared on the Merv Griffin show, viewers saw the ultimate masculine ideal. The cowboy who embodied rugged individualism through nearly 200 films that made him cinema's most recognizable figure. His on-screen persona became synonymous with American identity itself. Wayne not only held white supremacist views, but actively defended them after public backlash, showing no evolution or remorse. In 1971, Wayne gave an interview to Playboy magazine, making explicitly white supremacist statements. He stated his belief in white racial superiority clearly and without shame. He defended historical atrocities against Native Americans, suggesting white people had natural rights to take indigenous lands. These weren't vague implications. These music were direct declarations of white supremacist ideology published in a national magazine for millions to read. What made Wayne's views particularly significant was what happened after the Playboy interview became public. Wayne never apologized or walked back his statements. Production staff and guests who witnessed his talk show appearances in the early 1970s documented Wayne actively defending his views. He treated white supremacist ideology as honest expression of American values rather than recognizing it as harmful. Staff from various talk shows documented Wayne's remarkable comfort with his expressed views during the post-Playboy period. He showed no attempt to soften or moderate positions. He expected music, respect for his honesty, and seemed confused when people reacted negatively. In his world, he continued being cast in major films, continued appearing on television shows, and continued being celebrated as an American icon. His defiance showed powerful stars faced essentially no accountability for even the most explicit bigotry. Hollywood continued celebrating Wayne's career despite documented white supremacist views. When he died in 1979, obituaries focused overwhelmingly on his film career. The explicitly white supremacist views he'd stated on record were mentioned briefly, if at all, treated as controversial opinions rather than ideology that contradicted heroic images his films promoted. While Wayne's views were becoming openly known, the wholesome sweetheart at number 4 used business power to enforce systematic discrimination. Number 4, Doris Day, the sweetheart who ran a segregated business. When Doris Day appeared on the Merv Griffin show, viewers saw America's eternal girl next door. The blonde actress whose romantic comedies defined an era. Her pure image and sunny disposition made her seem like the embodiment of wholesome entertainment. Day used her power as producer to maintain systematically segregated casting throughout her television career. The Doris Day show ran from 1968 to 1973. Day exercised significant producer control over her series. Network diversity reports show the program featured notably homogeneous casting despite being set in San Francisco, one of America's most diverse cities. Day had contractual approval rights over casting and used that power to maintain an overwhelmingly white cast throughout 5 years. Production circles in the early 1970s documented Day's discussions with other producers about casting approaches. Day emphasized maintaining a wholesome image for her show. Production insiders understood this as code for keeping casts white, a philosophy prioritizing what Day's team perceived as safe traditional entertainment. Production memos documented network executives raising concerns about lack of diversity. Day resisted these suggestions, citing need to maintain traditional feel. She argued the wholesome brand her audience expected didn't align with integrated casting. She used considerable star power and producer position to overrule network diversity recommendations. Staff who worked for Day's production company documented music discriminatory hiring, extending beyond on-screen talent to behind-scenes positions. Employment records show Day's company maintained patterns systematically limiting opportunities for Black professionals throughout the organization. This wasn't just about who appeared on camera. It reflected business philosophy, prioritizing all white work environments at every production level. What made Day's discrimination significant was her power to make different choices. Unlike performers working within studio systems, Day owned her production company and controlled her show. She had authority to integrate, but consciously chose not to using her wholesome brand as justification for maintaining segregated entertainment, even as civil rights transformed American society. This wholesome image remained intact throughout her career and beyond. When she died in 2019, obituaries celebrated her as America's sweetheart. The systematic exclusion documented in her production company's practices and shows casting patterns about preferring the old days when asked about television production changes. His interactions with white crew members were noticeably warmer than pre-umpter exchanges with Black staff. What distinguished Crosby's attitudes was complete resistance to evolution. While some stars from his generation eventually acknowledged progress or adapted public statements to changing times, Crosby maintained positions throughout the 1960s. He actively resisted, treating every social change as decline rather than progress. What made Crosby's case frustrating was how thoroughly his wholesome brand protected him from consequences. His association with Christmas and family entertainment made him essentially untouchable despite documented opposition to integration. Criticizing Bing Crosby felt to many like criticizing Christmas itself, an association providing perfect cover for attitudes contradicting the warmth his Christmas songs celebrated. Crosby died in 1977 with his warm image intact. Obituaries focused on his career and status as holiday tradition. His documented opposition to integrated housing and decades refusing to evolve on civil rights rarely appear in tributes. While Crosby's attitudes hid behind nostalgia and Christmas traditions, the legendary comedian at number 6 showed how patriotic imagery could conceal troubling behavior. Number 6, Bob Hope, America's comedian with un-American attitudes. When Bob Hope appeared on the Merv Griffin show, viewers saw legend. Discrimination particularly impactful was her 1970s role as elder stateswoman, mentoring younger producers. Television producers from that period documented Ball frequently advising others on running successful productions. Her mentorship emphasized traditional casting and broad appeal. Language producers understood as maintaining predominantly white casts. Ball's business philosophy taught to a generation of newer producers framed exclusion as smart business rather than discrimination. Production records from DSOL Productions showed patterns of limited diversity across various shows throughout the 1960s. Employment records and diversity reports compiled by networks showed Desilu Productions consistently featured less diverse casting than comparable shows from other companies during the same period. This pattern across multiple series suggested company-wide philosophy, prioritizing white casting. Writers and staff who worked on Ball's productions documented proposals for integrated casting or storylines addressing racial themes being regularly rejected. Ball's stated reason was maintaining universal appeal and not alienating audience segments. Staff understood this as prioritizing comfort of white viewers over inclusion, a business calculation treating diversity as risk. What made Ball's influence significant was how her enormous success gave recommendations weight with other producers. When Ball advised maintaining traditional casting or emphasized broad appeal, she wasn't just shaping her own shows, but influencing an entire generation looking to her groundbreaking career as model. Her business philosophy, which achieved undeniable commercial success, taught others that exclusion was smart business practice. Ball died in 1989 with her legacy as comedy icon and groundbreaking female producer. Secure obituaries celebrated her revolutionary impact, business acumen, and comedic genius. Documented patterns of limited diversity rarely appeared in retrospectives. While Ball used business success to justify systematic exclusion, the legendary performer at number 8 showed how power and fame could protect documented behavior. Number 8, Frank Sinatra. Music, the Rat Pack leader with a power shield. When Frank Sinatra appeared on the Merv Griffin show, viewers saw the ultimate entertainment icon. The legendary voice behind My Way, the Rat Pack leader who embodied cool. His connections and talent made him one of the most significant entertainers in history. He represented success on the grandest scale. Sinatra's power and connections meant he never felt need to hide attitudes that shaped how he treated crew members throughout his career. Staff from talk shows during the 1960s, 1980s documented Sinatra's treatment of crew members dividing clearly along racial lines. Multiple accounts documented Sinatra maintaining professional and often warm relationships with white staff while showing notably different behavior toward black crew. Staff described him as dismissive and demanding with black workers, treating them as interchangeable service providers rather than skilled professionals worthy of respect. He showed white colleagues. Production staff documented Sinatra's backstage demands, often including specific requests about personnel that coordinators understood had implications regarding race. He would request familiar crew members or express preferences for experienced staff, music, in ways effectively excluding black workers. His power and connections meant these demands were accommodated without question, even by major networks that might have resisted similar requests from less powerful stars. What made Sinatra's behavior particularly troubling was how attitudes seemed to worsen as he aged. Staff who worked with him across different decades noted younger Sinatra maintained somewhat more careful behavior by the 1970s and 1980s as legendary status solidified and power became unquestionable. Sinatra became notably less filtered in treatment of black, music staff, and use of offensive language. Staff documented he would casually use slurs when frustrated, apparently confident his position protected him from consequences. Multiple crew members from various productions reported Sinatra's belief in his own untouchable status was completely justified by reality. Despite documented patterns spanning decades, Sinatra never faced meaningful consequences. His legendary status, his connections, and enormous cultural influence created immunity